Welcome, welcome, welcome. Another good day in the neighborhood. How you doing back there, Johnny?
Doing great.
You know, when people ask me why I always say that to you, and I say, well, just because I can.
Yeah. Besides, it's nice to treat the little folks nicely, right?
No, actually, if I didn't say it, John could turn the mic off and nobody could ever hear me again.
I wouldn't say nobody would really hear you again, but that would work with you, Lisa.
No. But anyways, today we're going to have some real fun because I have a book called Warning Signs. It's like a dating guide book. And so I told John I wanted him to read this book because we got to get him a date and get him married and stuff. He want to have some babies, kids. What do you think about that,
John? Not a great way to sell a book, in my opinion. Babies, kids, it doesn't somehow that feeling.
No, we go hook you up. That's all right. Today my guest is Miss Danielle Ward. Thank you, Danielle, for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
And me and Danielle, you know, we almost twins. She's got a little bit more hair than me today.
It was still cold.
Yeah. I'm like, she got just a little bit more hair than me today. But this was quite an interesting book, and I must be honest, I did not make it all the way through the end, but I did highlight some areas, and I see you got a lot of pages tagged. But to me, a lot of this stuff seems quite commonsensical. Now, do you find that, I don't know what kind of research you did to do this, did you find that a lot of people didn't know certain things in here, like blind dates, you don't follow them home, and you stay in a public place?
Right. Well, a lot of it is common sense, but when we get into relationships, our emotions sometimes take over. So what was common sense is just thrown out the window. And we just follow what we feel and get in a whole heap of mess.
Yeah. Because when I was looking at some of these, I was just reading them I was shaking my head going, they didn't know that. So now, at such a young age, have you had anybody tell you, like, well, you really can't write a book like that because you're probably not old enough, you haven't had enough experience that you can put this in writing and have anybody take you serious?
Yes. People have to tell me they do that. How old are you anyway? Have you even dated?
Exactly.
Actually, I have. And that could be an actual challenge when they see me face to face. They look at me and think I have no idea what I'm talking about. But I've been through a lot of the things in the book.
Because, when we had been talking on Facebook before we met, you look like a bigger girl in that picture. And so when we met in the library, I'm looking around, you're like, I'm here and I'm seeing this little girl come walking in. And I said to myself, that's not Danielle.
Well, I feel tall.
And see the picture, the way they took the picture, it made me think, you were taller and everything. So when people actually see you, they're like, she's like 13.
Right. She's selling her mama's book.
Right. You can't write a book on dating. And, some of the things in here, like you said, that goes out the window is like I see on TV in different places a lot when, moving too fast too soon.
Right.
That's one thing. And sometimes, do you think... sometimes people have that lonely complex where they meet somebody and they don't want to lose them, and it's like, well, I'll snatch them up. How long have you known them? Well, 24 hours.
Right.
They're moving in with me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That actually happened to somebody I knew.
Oh, my
They were
goodness.
together for a very short time, and then he moved and she followed and moved in and never left.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. And they ended up getting married.
Well, I guess if you get married and it lasts longer, you're pretty good to go. But if it turns disastrous, like you've left your home, your family, your kids, everybody for this person.
Right.
I just don't know. Sometimes I just get speechless. The way people's actions are. I mean, I really get speechless. And I can say when I met and married my husband, we knew each other 4 months. And to me, that was a long time because we're both cancers, we're free spirits. And it's like we've known each other forever. So we was like, what the heck?
Wow.
We stayed married 7 years.
Okay.
But, I'd probably be married to him now. It's like 30 plus years, but he passed away.
Okay.
But it's like some people do it, and I think maybe they have the wrong idea about what, is it paradise? I mean, you don't know enough about them. So then you get into the section of how many kids do they have. They might say, how many you got? 1? And then you find out they got 15 in the background.
Right. You have to do your homework. Have to do that because you don't know what you see is what they only want to show you. So you have to do your homework, meet their friends, meet their family, spend time, get to know them so you get a better, well-rounded picture of who they are.
Well, one thing the problem I have when people say, you don't know them very well is you can be with a person 50 years and not know what they're going to do.
True.
But like you say, when you just meet someone, I think sometime getting to know them, how long do you think is a good time to get to know them? I mean, who's to say?
It depends on the people. But I think you can get to know somebody's character. There's always going to be surprises. People could be married, like you said, 50 years and still find out something new about that person. But their overall character will shine through if you spend enough time really getting to know them and not letting your emotions cloud what you see and being real with what you're actually seeing and not pushing it to the side. Like, oh, he didn't mean that when he said he didn't want to have kids. Yeah, he meant that.
He meant that. Because when they say, oh, I'm just joking, to me, you meant that because it came out.
Right.
And when they, say, well, I was just kidding, no, I don't think so. A lot of times you say what you mean first.
Yeah.
And then it's too late. You can't take it back.
Right. Out of the heart, the mouth speaks. Yeah, it's out there.
I'm one of those people. Preach that. Say it like they said, what comes up comes out.
Right.
And then sometimes you can take it back, sometimes you can't. But when it comes to relationships like that, it's kind of hard. You want a long-lasting relationship. So what do you think about all the stuff that's been going on with the internet dating?
I have mixed feelings about internet dating. It's not something that I feel comfortable with because I have a hard enough time meeting people face to face, and you never know what you're going to get. So to have that internet as the medium, as the go-between, you only see what they tell you. You don't even get to meet them to size them up. Now, some people I've met have met and married and are happily married through internet dating, and others, all you hear is horror stories.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think it's, to me, because I've dated people from the internet, and I have friends that got married and moved out of state, and they're still married, and they met on the internet. Now, what I see, my rationale is people say, oh, you dated somebody from the internet. Yeah. I'm a free spirit. I'm going to do what I want to do. Right? No, but what I see is that's the same person that you meet like in the neighborhood store or somewhere like that. The only difference is you meeting them first on the internet, because the way they act on the internet and then when you see them in person, they're going to act the same way. So my thing is, if you meet a person in the street corner, whatever, and they start to talk to you and you want to go out with them or whatever, I'm going to treat them the same. I'm going to keep everything in public. You're not coming to my house. I'm not going to your house. So to me, it really doesn't matter where you meet them, because eventually it's the same person.
Eventually. The hard thing is, like I said, over the internet, you never know what information you're actually getting, if it's true or if it's not. And I mean, they could tell you anything. And
but they can also tell you that for real, too.
They can. Yeah. So I would just be careful.
Yeah.
Either way you go.
Either way you go, you have to be sensible about it.
Right.
Because when, like you said, when you give up that common sense, you have no red flags anymore.
Right.
That's what I see. It's like, if you don't see red flags popping up when they're saying certain things or acting a certain way, to me it wouldn't matter where you met them.
Not at all. Your judgment's completely clouded. Right. Everyone's a good catch.
That's right. Now, let's talk about the birth control.
Okay.
Because my neighbor and I was reading this section, and we got on the part where, there's so many types of birth control, and I really hate to say it because I might blush, John. You better get a good picture of this. I might blush when I get to this section.
We'll get camera zeroed in on that.
Zeroed in, I may blush. I may just, whew. But, there's the typical birth control pills and the IUDs and all that. And so the one in here that struck us was the withdrawal method or pull out.
Okay.
And I was just watching, I don't know if you ever watch Teen Mom, shows like that. I love reality shows, but, they get pregnant at 16 or whatever, and they had a kid. So the girl was like, okay, we already broke up, blah, blah, but we hooked back up. And they're like, you're not even on birth control. She's like, no, I'm not. He pulled out. I was like, oh!
Yeah, not a good method.
Not a good method. And so the stats you have, 96% are effective if it's done right, and 73% if it's done wrong. Those are close to all, not either all being right or all being wrong.
Right.
So how do we know what's right and what's wrong if we're the female and they're the male? So we have to trust that the man knows exactly.
Well, see, this is what it is with birth control, not to be too graphic, but when you're withdrawing and you have no protection, there's that pre-ejaculate that comes out. So if he doesn't feel it, he doesn't know.
Exactly.
So by the time he pulls out,
it's too late.
Exactly.
That's what we say.
So it's better not to even do it at all.
Right.
If you're really trying not to have children.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what we came up with, because me and my neighbor sat there and we talked about that and cracked up in the same time, because we're like, we're women. How do we know that he knows when the time to pull out?
Did you hear about the young couple who went to their family doctor about birth control, and he said, "Oh, we'll sit there and talk about it." So they sat down. He consulted some books, and they were sitting there behind, on the other side of the desk, and so he was studying up stuff and going, okay. And so he pulls off his glasses. He goes, "The best form of birth control is eating an apple." And they said, "Well, before, after, or during?" He goes, "No, instead of."
Oh, that's a safe way.
That's a safe way. Get you a bag of apples. Just carry it with you at all times. Oh, my goodness. And then, we move on. Now, I know you have some stuff that's tagged. Did you have any certain spot? Because I'm just like going through and I had highlighted some stuff and just, go through here. But if you have some certain areas that you wanted to bring up, we can do that, too.
Oh, okay.
We can do that, too. Okay. Don't mind me. I'm just talking.
Okay.
So, STDs or STIs, what's the difference?
The name change. Infection, is more inclusive.
Oh, okay. So it's not STDs anymore, it's STIs now. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Did you know that, Johnny?
I can see that, because there's a lot of stuff that's morphed out there. For antibiotics, they're no longer effective, and there's also stuff from other countries. And there's also things that are probably never associated with sexual intercourse that are now diseases and viruses that now, because of certain sexual practices, now are problems.
I'm blushing. Stop it. I'm stopping that right now.
Blast, okay?
Much don't embarrass me, but I'm starting to blush. I can feel it.
So I'm actually seeing that. I'm actually seeing that you are turning red.
I know it.
Just right above your eyebrow.
Okay, so now let's talk about the married men or the committed men that want to play around.
Okay.
And while we're doing it, let's throw in those guys on the down low.
Okay.
So let's talk about that, because it's so much going on with people playing around. And I'm saying it from the woman's point of view. We're going to do this from the woman's point of view.
Right.
The men that are married that want to have an affair or just want to do something different. What do you think about,
I think we have to be careful not to get pulled into situations like that. Like I mentioned in the book, sometimes we hear what we want to hear, and he'll tell you, "Oh, my relationship is not that good. She doesn't do all these things that a wife should do." And I can talk to you about anything. So they turn it around to make you feel vulnerable, and they pull at your weaknesses, and you just fall right into the trap.
Right.
And it's like, "Oh, wow, his wife's horrible. Why would she treat him like that?"
Exactly.
And I'll just be there as his friend, and I'll listen, and next thing you know, your relationship is no longer just platonic. So you have to really be careful to draw the line and to keep the line drawn. And if you can't do that, then maybe you can't have friends who are married that are married.
Right. Yeah. That's what I say too, because it could get a little dicey, and next thing you know, the missus bust you upside your head.
Yeah, it could turn violent.
She roll up on you, be like, "Oh, you messing with mine."
It could turn violent.
And so, what about the men on the down low that they not just messing with their wives? They got these guys on the side, and the wives are like the last to know. Or maybe they have female friends that know and nobody's saying anything.
Which is why you need to have some good girlfriends. Because those are the ones that are going to help you keep it real in your relationships. And they'll let you know if a guy is up to no good or if he's not a good fit for you, because they know you well enough. And they'll hold you accountable so you don't make mistakes of getting with the wrong guys. Or at least if you make the mistake, you can't say nobody ever told you.
Right.
But for the down low, that's a tough spot because you don't know.
Yeah.
You have to use a lot of discernment, prayer, because you really don't know. Some people hide it really well.
Yeah, because what was that book I read? I did that one show a year ago about guys on the down low, and I can't remember the name of the book. I have it at home, where the guy had written a book about all these guys on the down low, and it just amazed the ones that the way they appear to be muscle bound, masculine, business, blah blah blah, and then on the side they're wearing female underwear and all this kind of stuff. And now the thing with when you have your good girlfriend, sometimes we as women don't want to hear that.
Right.
So as your best friend, now I'm gonna tell you. Now you're gonna be mad,
right?
But I mean, do you think that women? Do you think as best friends, you still should tell them?
Yes, 100%.
That's what I say too.
100%. Yes, because you're not a friend,
right? I say be mad. I don't care. I'm gonna tell you,
right?
And be mad later.
Yeah, and they may look back later and come back and thank you because they weren't ready to receive what you had to say,
right?
But at least it was in the atmosphere. It gives them something in their spirit to think about and consider. So 100%. Yes, tell them no, yes.
Your man is a dog.
Well, maybe you can say it in a way that they're going to receive it a little bit better.
That's the way I'm saying it. Now, when you want to get to his family and friends, when do you think is a good time for that? Have you just been dating him for a little while and he's like, well, let me go introduce you to my mom, and mom's going to be like, oh, yeah, you're the one for my son, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, once you meet the parents, you're into that serious mode.
Not necessarily. I don't think it's ever too early to meet the family and the friends.
Oh.
It doesn't have to be an early relationship, but as you're getting to know each other, if there's an event that goes on, or hey, I need to pop by the house for a minute, hey, you can come meet my mom. I don't think it's too early. I don't think that defines the relationship or takes it to the next level. It depends on how you're doing it.
Right.
If it's this big formal dinner and, okay, I want you to meet the family, that's a little bit different. But just to meet everybody in a
I'm on my way out.
Way.
I'm just gonna pop by and meet.
I think that's fine. I think that you can do that early.
Certain Hispanic cultures, this one professor at U of M was dating this woman. I think it was like one of the Latin countries that, and he had to take the whole family out when he went out with the whole family went with them when they went out to, and he had to pay for the entire family to go to the movies or to dinner. And so he said he had like 10 people. Look, he was from a pretty wealthy family anyway. But yeah, he had entourage of 10 people besides his date following him. He said it was hard to get anything going that way.
But that's how we used to do it.
Yeah.
Growing up, I mean, it was before my time, but that's how you didn't go out, just the two of you.
Yeah.
Somebody chaperoned with you, or you went to places where it was a group. You never went out by yourself.
Yeah. And I remember that with my aunts and uncles. I was little and they were all teenagers, but I remember them going out in groups. My aunt and her sister, and maybe my brother, and then the boyfriend. They would all go out together, and it was always a group. I see it as having fun, but who knows? They probably wanted to get back.
They probably wanted their privacy,
right?
They probably have less children because they didn't have their privacy.
Yeah, that's what they need to do these days.
Yes,
lock them kids up.
If I had a daughter, chastity belts would be in fashion. Okay?
Now, John and I were sort of cracking up on the section about the background checks, and he was saying, well, these days, your credit score pretty much rules the world. So if you're going to do a background check, would you be looking for credit scores to see, like, if they're bankrupt or anything like that? So if you decided to run a background check on someone, what would be the purpose?
To find out if they have any type of criminal history. You could check their financial background, their employment status. You can check a lot of things like that. If they've been in prison, all sorts of things.
I never thought about being in prison.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I would check the background like that. I just, sometimes you think it's like, is it too much invasion of their privacy? But then on the other hand, you want to be safe because they're going to meet your family, and maybe eventually if you have kids, they might want to come around your kids.
Right.
Well, I just had to break out my Glock. Lay it on the table. When you act up ugly in here, you may not get out the same way you came in.
Well, there was one lady I heard about who, after the third date, she would do a background check on anybody that she was going out with, just to be safe and find out what's really going on. Because people aren't always honest.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have to do a background check, if you're that uncomfortable with it, maybe it's not somebody you should be going out with at all.
I think that's the way I feel, because I don't know that I'd want to spend $80 to look them up. I just think that my heart and my red flags going off would be enough for me to say no.
If you're in tune with yourself.
Right. And I'm pretty much in tune, but I just can't see ignoring stuff like that, because I do have a son at home, and then if I didn't have a son and it was just me, it would be even worse, because you get somebody up in your house, they may never want to leave.
Right.
Anything could happen, and I would just be like, no, they call 911 to scoop them out because they ain't coming out the same way they went in.
Right.
Oh my
very,
goodness.
Very careful. And then you also listening to what they tell you too, and that's taking us back a little bit. But sometimes, like, women complain, they get in a relationship and he's not like he was, Or he doesn't keep the house clean, and it's like, well, he told you he was messy when you met him. Mm-hmm. You saw when you went over his house, it looked like a pigsty. Why would you assume it would be different?
Well, people tend to say, well, I'm going to change him.
And you can't.
You can't.
You can't. Nobody changes unless they want to change.
That's one of the big things that I see that people mess up, I believe, in relationships when they know how they are from the beginning. Mm-hmm. And then when you get with them, whether you move in with them or not, you figure you're going to change them. It's sort of like, what was that show with, I can't remember, but who was it? Bobby Brown had all jacked up teeth, and then the girl got him in and dressed him all up, got him straight, and then he went out and cheated on her. You know, it's like, that's the kind of thing that I think people should be more aware of, and they should watch out for, because you cannot change that person.
No, not
and they will try and try. And they be like, well, I did everything for you. I gave you everything, and you still cheated on me.
Right. I stopped my career so I could support you, and then when they get where they want to go,
they're gone.
Right.
They're not going to support you now. You done spent all your money. You done put me through college and everything. Mm-hmm. And I don't know about putting people through college like that. I think that's a gamble. I mean, I don't know that I would do it.
I think you need to be married, and then your finances are joined, and you're supporting each other. Mm-hmm. But to support somebody through college while you're just dating or even engaged is not safe. It's not wise to do
I see people buy homes together when they're just dating or living together and putting it in both of their name and stuff. And I just see that as if it's not enough security, for me to put my name on your name, with your name on something like that, and you could leave tomorrow, or they'll be like, put it in my name because I got the best credit, and then they ride you down, and then they leave, and I'm stuck with all the bills, all your mess.
Exactly. Dave Ramsey talks about that a lot. People call in, and my friend and I joined on this partnership, and now he's gone, and I'm stuck with the bill.
Yeah.
Like, don't do it.
See?
Don't do it. And houses and things like that, you're not a unit yet.
Right.
So there's no accountability on the other person's part. They don't feel responsible. There's nothing keeping them in that relationship. They can walk whenever they want to. So to invest in something that large, that's not wise.
That's like living together for 30 years. I never saw the benefit in that, and I know people that have done it, and I guess it worked for them, but I think, 2 years and you haven't made a decision, it's time to step. I don't want to be a live-in girlfriend for the rest of my life. I don't believe in it. And it's not like I'm so religious or anything like that. It's just a belief that I feel if I'm good enough to be your girlfriend for 2 years and you don't ever want to marry me, well,
Right.
Step up.
Right. Now, I'm not a firm believer in living together before marriage anyway.
Right.
But you're absolutely right. If you're not going to commit, you need to know that within a certain amount of time.
Exactly.
Don't waste both of your time. Because maybe you're not meant for each other and you're wasting that time, and you could be with the person that's meant for you.
Yeah, it could be somebody that you know that would be the perfect guy for you, and you wouldn't get a chance because you dedicated these 2 years, and it's like, I don't want to live with anybody before I marry him either. But people do that these days all the time. It's like nothing. And I'm just like, why you do?
Yeah, because they want to try it out.
They want to try it out. It's like buying a car.
I worked with this girl, and she was like in her 20s, and she had already lived with 3 different guys.
Whoa.
See? And I thought that was like,
too much.
Wow. I mean, another thing is too, it's like research has shown this, that couples been married to, been together for years, when they do get married, have a tendency to split up anyway.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. I've read that too.
I've seen that over the years growing up. I remember we had family friends that had been living together like 15 years, and they got married. They was married 3 months.
And broke up.
Big wedding, all of this stuff. And, you figured, well, all my quirks, you've been with me this long.
What changed?
The paper, because now one wants to control the other. One wants to say, well, you mine. I was yours 15 years.
Right. Nothing is new.
One of these kids I went to school with, his parents were together 20-some years. They had several kids, but they weren't married. And that's a whole story, too.
Yeah.
So anyway, so they started going to a church when the minister convinced them to get married. They did. And within 2 years of being married, they wanted to get divorced.
Wow.
And and they had no problems, real serious problems, all the 20-some years they were living prior and having kids without being married. And so what it was, and they boiled down to what you just alluded to, was because that you're my wife, I got to control you. And they worked it out. They stayed together until the father, he was much older than the woman anyway. He was like 20 years older or 25 years older.
He's bound to go sooner than me.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, I can't see putting my life together like that. I mean, it's got to be married or nothing. I'd rather stay single. I don't care.
And you have to be happy with yourself first. And that's a lot of things. A lot of times women get into relationships and they're not whole before they get in.
Right.
They think being with that person is going to complete them and give them what they're looking for. But they have to realize that when you come in, you've got to be where you need to be first.
Yeah.
And then you'll meet someone who compliments you.
Now, I wonder what advice would you give to women to say what you just said? Because we know that happens all the time. We know that they're a little needy.
Right.
And I know people that are needy where they have to have a man in their life. And it's not a bad thing. But my thing is, if you get that man and then he treats you like crap and you stay anyways, then it becomes really crazy. You mean, you could get involved in domestic violence, you get involved in anything. I mean, what do you tell people?
Do things that benefit you. Forget about the guy for a while. Take a hiatus. Go on a sabbatical from dating so you can focus on yourself. Get some hobbies.
Right.
Find some things that you like to do. Take yourself out. All by yourself. So you can get used to that idea of enjoying your own company. So if you don't have a date on Friday night, you're not wallowing in depression, eating ice cream, watching movies at home. You're taking yourself out and sit in the restaurant and eat in.
I'm going shopping, you know.
But do things that may make you uncomfortable, but will help you become comfortable with enjoying yourself. Enjoying your own company. Yeah,
because it's just sad that so many people end up needing someone to make them happy, and my motto is you're responsible for your own happiness. Somebody told me that years and years and years ago, and it just stuck in my head. So when I got a divorce, it was terrible, but yet it wasn't anything that was going to make me run out and jump off the sidewalk. Because like I used to tell him, I was like, I was single longer than I was married. So it's not like I don't know how to take care of myself. It's not like you came into my life and now, you know, you did everything for me and I don't know what to do now that you're gone. And I think some women get caught up in that. It's like, well, what am I going to do now? You know, he's gone. And you have to know how to do all this stuff ahead of time. That's the way I see it. I mean, spend time by yourself. Because you can be your own best friend.
Yeah, you can. You can. And then speaking of divorced people, a lot of times they might get divorced and then feel like they're not worthy of another relationship. No one's going to want me, or I'm divorced with these kids. Who's going to date me? And they end up placing themselves in relationships that are not healthy.
So just so they have someone.
Because somebody's got to take care of these kids. I can't do it by myself. And you've got to take that time to build yourself up to where you need to be before you start dating again, or else you'll find yourself all through this book.
I've been through this book. I'm just like, whoa. And let's see, the lack of lack of respect, and the smooth talker. What is a smooth talker?
A smooth talker will tell you anything
you want to hear.
Yes. And sometimes people think it's okay. They think if you lie, that's just saving you. Like if I tell you a lie, I'm protecting you from the truth. So it's better if I just lie to you and just tell you a little white lie, and we'll keep the relationship like it is, and it won't go down, or you won't look at me differently because.
But then when I find out the truth, I'm gonna be mad as hell. John said he don't like white lies. Why they gotta be white? Why can't they be black?
We have enough black things.
I think it's like, the thing is, we all have to kind of lie to some degree to get through life. But I mean, at some point when you're trying to deal with an individual for trying to get into a relationship, you got to know when to lower your guard, and that's awfully hard, you know, when to know how to lower your guard when you've been taught so socialized to have this wall up and to be polite. You know, and there's certain things, like, let's face it, all the rules for conversation, there's certain things you're not supposed to address, which I usually make a habit of hitting really first off, because I go the opposite direction.
All the things they tell you not to say, we say them first. Get it out the way.
That's, I mean, and I think that's a good way. Maybe I'm like trying to push people away or something, but that's what I do with everybody, not just dating relationships. Like, here I am, this is what I believe, and if you don't like it, SOL. I mean, you're SOL. But I think I think we do have to have like walls up around ourselves, and I mean, but it's awfully hard to know when to actually let people be able to peek through them or whatever. I don't know if you address that kind of topic in the book, or how to gauge your own self to know when you can trust this person.
I don't address that topic specifically, but I can address it now. A lot of it depends on your trust that you have in the relationship. And as you get to know that person, you'll become comfortable with them. And you give little bits about yourself as you get to know the person.
Right.
So you don't just spill the whole story on day one, but you let them get little peeks as you get to know each other better.
The trust issues.
Definitely.
Now, the money personality, when you're talking about guys being on a budget, do they save? Do they spend impulsively? That sounds like me. I spend impulsively. I do save, but I like to spend.
Right, and you have to have a balance. Yeah, definitely have to have a balance. But there are some that have no balance at all. You meet someone and they just are throwing money left and right. And then when it comes time for an emergency or they need something, they don't have any money and they're coming to you saying, hey, can I get $20 until I get paid?
And those are the people working General Motors.
Right.
I better not say that they might get me.
Those are the people who are working steadily and making pretty good money.
Making good money,
and don't have money from check to check.
Right.
So something's not right.
Yeah.
You're not balancing your budget. Some people don't even balance their checkbook. Well, most people have debit cards these days.
Right.
But you can still have a checkbook and keep the register balanced.
Right.
And people don't do that. So if you're doing this now and you're dating, what happens when you get married? You got to pay the mortgage. You got to pay for things that you want to do. What if you want to go on vacation? You never have any money saved up to go on vacation.
Exactly.
Or you're always eating out and never eating at home,
Yeah.
so you don't have money to do anything.
I guess it becomes a lifestyle when you make a lot of money like that, and then when something does happen, if you don't have anything saved up, then you're SOL.
Right.
Because, I mean, what can you do?
Right.
And you just wonder now, what kind of person are you? I mean, how do you broach that? Do you just say, so where do you work?
Well, a lot of times in America anyway, the first question is, what do you do?
Yeah.
It's not who are you, but what do you do?
What do you do?
So that's going to come up within the first 5 minutes of conversation. And unfortunately, a lot of us look at the person and judge them based on what they do for a living.
Yeah.
Even though that's not the bulk of who they are.
Yeah.
So that will come up.
Yeah, that does come up because, you know, if certain people, like I was looking at Dr. Phil the other day, and his show was cheapskate versus spendthrift. So the girl that was a spendthrift, she had lost her job, moved back home with her mom, but she was steady spending. She was like $48,000 in debt and credit cards, but she was shopping every other day. She's like, I have to have the best. I have to be the best. And so he said, by you buying all those things, does that make you the best?
She thought so.
She's like, she had to stop and think. And he said, that doesn't make you the best. And she had all these designer clothes. So then at the end, they showed her mom with all her stuff out on the lawn.
Oh, wow.
She said, you got to come and get it. And in 30 days, it's got to be gone or I'm selling it.
Wow.
She about went into panic mode. She was like, my stuff. And he's like, that's what it is. It's stuff.
And that's it.
You need to sell it and pay your mother back.
Right.
So
you don't have a job. You have no.
You living at home with mom. You're not paying any bills, no rent, nothing.
Right.
But you racking up those credit card debts.
Right, and it goes both ways with the money personality, because you need to be with someone that's going to hold you accountable, and so it both ways. You don't want to both be just spending every dollar you get.
Every payday we out.
Right, and living from check to check.
Check to check.
Right. Now, you have no future financially that way.
That's really, because if you want to put your kids through college, or even if I want to go back to school or something, and I don't have a job that reimburses me, I have to pay for it myself, then I'm not going to be able to go where I want to go because I don't have any money to pay for it.
Right.
And who wants to just have no money all the time? I mean, it drives you crazy. It's like people woo-wooing all the time. I don't have any money. But you work all the time.
Right. Where is your money going?
Right.
So I talk about that in the book with Dave Ramsey, and he talks about your financial planning. And what do you do? Every dollar has a name.
Right.
Where is your money going? And if
Kohl's.
you don't know where your money is... Well, if you know it's going to Kohl's. But if you don't know where your money is going, you can't have financial success. You just can't. And that is the number one reason people divorce or break up, because of money.
It's either money or cheating. Those are high on the list.
Yes, definitely.
I know. I've been there. Okay, so now, is he really interested in you, or is he interested in what he think you are? What do you think?
Depends on the guy.
Depends
on the guy. I think you can look at them. Sometimes you can tell if they're interested in you because they engage you and they want to know more about who you are.
Right.
Not just what you're about, how much money you bring in, or how pretty you look in these clothes and how good you're going to look on my arm. But they really engage you and they want to know who you are as a person. So I think that makes a difference.
So when they come up and be like, so where you live? Oh, that nice neighborhood. You got one of them big houses. Or they go, oh, is that your car? now, girl.
Exactly.
And they driving a hoopty over here, you be like,
and the car does not make the man.
No, it doesn't,
not
but I can't ride it. You know, it'd be like, I can't ride that thing gasping for breath. You know, people say it, you be like, I can't ride. I'm looking all like this and I'm got to ride in that. Maybe you should ride with me. That's a no? Okay.
No. Because you don't want to judge. He might be trying to get himself together, and that car could be paid off.
Well, the other thing, too, he could be rich, and you don't know it.
He could be, because rich folks drive Jettas.
I know.
I was telling my friend that yesterday. I said, rich folks drive Jettas.
They drive Jettas, and you don't even know it. You be like, oh, I don't want to talk to him. And next thing you know, he died. He done passed on $200 million to some charity when you could have been rolling in it.
Right.
That's too much.
Right. And then also, along those lines, does he think about you? And I mentioned this in the book. For me, I don't like stuffed animals. For me, there's just no point in a stuffed animal.
No stuffed animals?
No, not at all.
He can't bring you a teddy bear?
If he brings me a teddy bear, that's fine. But if I've made it clear that does nothing for me, and then you bring me this teddy bear and you're all excited, and it's like, yeah, you just got that because you thought it was cute. You didn't consider the fact that I don't like it at all, because you would have thought about, well, what does Danielle like? Okay. Let me get something that makes her happy, not just something I think is cute.
Even though this teddy bear is cute, she doesn't like teddy bears.
Right.
I gotta find her something else.
Exactly, because you're trying to impress me.
Right.
And not just get me something.
And do you think that would like hurt their feelings if they say, oh, shoot, I forgot you didn't like teddy bears. Would you take it anyway?
I would take it anyway. I mean, I'm not a cruel person.
Be like, no, take it back.
I told you I didn't like teddy bears.
I don't like teddy bears.
No, I would not be like
Whips
that.
Whips out a knife and starts stabbing the teddy bear.
No, that's a whole different
issue. Oh my goodness.
No, I think you can accept gifts graciously, but it does clue you in on their intentions.
Like he was not listening to me.
Not at all. And that's important in a relationship. Right. You want somebody to listen to you. Even something as minute as, he got me a stuffed animal, I don't like that. He wasn't listening when I told him what I liked and what I didn't. That was his past
girlfriend.
Possibly.
Okay, so now we get to the yellow light relationship. He's pressuring you to bump uglies.
Okay.
I just don't understand. What's pressure? To me, it's like, you can't pressure me to do anything I don't want to do. What does that mean?
Pressure, a lot of times, is conversation, like trying to pull you and convince you to do something, especially when you're on the fence and you're not quite firm in your convictions about what you want, and, well, we should just do this, and we're not going to go that far. Well, not this time, but you know I love you.
That's the main words. I love you so much. I've been holding back, waiting on you.
Right, and well, all my relationships include sex, so if you don't want to have sex, then we can't be together.
Oh, that's cold.
So that type of pressure, they put you in the spotlight, like, what are you going to do? And really, you always have a choice. Right. Because it's your life, it's your body. Right. But sometimes you can be manipulated.
Yeah, some people, I guess they have to be, like, I don't know, I guess I'm just a rebel. Like, nobody forces me to do anything. Right. And my siblings always laugh at me. That's why I tattooed Wild Child. They call me the original Wild Child because they know. Okay. You can't force me to do anything. I'm going to do what I want to do, and that's the end of it. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm one of those, you take me as I am, you love me, hate me, nothing in between.
Right. But you have that confidence about yourself. Yeah. It's like, a lot of people don't have that.
I don't care. That's like shaving my head. They say, why you shave your head? You know, they're thinking I'm sick or something. Like, no. Yeah, that's why I say, well, you know, I'm a rebel. And one day I just got up and I was tired of hair. I just went, no. And then I went to the hairdresser and I told her, cut it some more. She said, oh my God, Lisa, I put the wrong head on here. I cut too low. I said, wait, let me see. Right. Oh, that's good. Take it off. Yeah.
Actually, Lisa was planning to put a horn in her head, but she found out that's really cost prohibitive, so she didn't get to go with that. She just went with
I put some of them little balls, them little silicone balls under there. Nah, I wouldn't go that much because I've seen people do that and they look ridiculous. But definitely. Now we're gonna skip ahead to some rebound relationships. Okay. I think those are kind of dangerous.
They are,
because to me that's really needy, and to me it's like you break up with somebody and the next person you bring them in, that's like healing or trying to heal this pain from the person before. Right. And so this new person should be smart enough to catch on to that.
Should be. Should be. But really, rebound relationships, you have to take the time to heal first. And a lot of times a guy may not do that. Because you notice like when married men get divorced, they tend to marry faster than a woman because they want that companionship. So if you don't recognize that, then you'll be in trouble and you'll think this is a good relationship, but there's something missing from it.
Because sometimes when they're married a long time and they end up getting divorced after a long time, to me, I figure if you've been married, 35, 40 years, you're not getting a divorce. You stay right.
And that's off the table.
That's off. Divorce is not an option. What you gonna do? What you gonna divorce somebody after 40 years for? Oh, I'm just tired of it. Well, you should have been tired at the 20-year mark.
Well, sometimes they stay because of the children.
And I hate hearing that because I could have stayed with my husband because of my son, but to me, it was like, no. He doesn't need to see us arguing and fussing and all this stuff. Because one of these days I might slap you and I don't want him to see that.
And sometimes, as much as I don't advocate for divorce, sometimes it's healthier to part ways. You can have a healthier relationship separate than you can together.
Yeah.
And if you read some of this book, you may not have gotten married in the first place. Because you would see things like, we're not quite compatible.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to make that hard choice.
And it's one of those things when they say you're going to make mistakes. And everybody does. And that's one of those you might make. Who knows? Who knows? So, looking at his past relationships, still living at home. Why are you living at home? You're 55 years old.
And there are people, a lot of people over 30, still living at home. And some are trying to do things for themselves. Situations brought them back. Some
cultures allow you to do it.
Right.
Black people don't.
Generally, no.
Don't.
Generally
Kick you out at 18, honey. When you get out of high school,
like my dad said, when you get 18, I'm going to break your plate and sell your bed.
Oh, my.
But he never did that. But
that's a good one. Break your plate and sell your bed.
Can't sleep here or eat here.
No.
And don't bring your laundry.
That's another thing. I never had to go home and do my laundry. Nobody said, oh, you want to come here and eat? You want us to do your laundry? It's like, you out. Right. Once you out, you out. It's like, that's all right with me. I'm gone. So let me see. Can I be upfront about my beliefs?
Yeah.
So that's about mostly religion, how the clash of the religions.
And not even a clash, but if you don't feel comfortable expressing what you believe because maybe he doesn't believe the same thing or doesn't believe anything at all, if you're not comfortable being upfront about that, then there's going to be a problem. Yeah. If you're firm in your convictions.
Now, some people, like my ex-husband was such a joker and prankster and stuff. He would say stuff like, well, I'm an atheist. And he really wasn't, but he would say that sometime and I'd be like, don't say that around, certain people. But he always, joked about it. So what if you really did meet an atheist and you didn't know it until it was like time to go to church or, you're sitting in a family setting and everybody's talking, whatever, and then that comes up. What are you supposed to do? You dump him, you dump them, or bring him over? Because I'm not going over there.
Well, that's probably not the best relationship for you. If you're not on the same page in that area, then that's probably not the best relationship because one of you is going to pull the other in one direction. If you don't want to be pulled and he doesn't want to be pulled, you can't be at an impasse forever.
Exactly.
So that's probably, you might just have to be friends or you can't agree to disagree.
No, that's one of them things that's a yes or no.
Right.
Yeah, because if you bring kids into it and you say, I want to bring my child up as a Christian, they'd be like, no, I don't believe in God. You'd be like,
right, we have a problem, Houston.
To the moon.
Exactly. And even if it's two different religions, it's still hard. I've met people where one friend, his mom is a Jehovah's Witness. His dad, I think, was Baptist. And now the kids don't have any religion. You don't know which way to go.
Yeah, because Jehovah's Witness, I never understood why they don't celebrate holidays and birthdays and stuff like that. And I always feel bad for little kids because we always had Christmas and birthdays and everything. And then those kids never get that. And I always wonder why that is.
And I'm not an expert on that religion, so I won't speak because I don't want to speak in error.
Right.
But I do believe that with whatever religion you have, if you understand it well and you teach your kids, they may feel a little bit left out at first, but if they understand it and know why you worship the way you do, they won't feel as left out. Yeah. Because they can explain, oh no, we don't celebrate Halloween because of this. Yeah. And I get that and I'm okay with that. But if you don't explain it, then they're always going to feel like they're missing something. And when they get older, that won't be the religion for them. Right. Because I always missed out when I was little. And I'm going to celebrate every holiday.
And I'm going to make sure my kids do and everything. Yeah.
So you have to be firm and be able to express that to your family.
So let me see. We're gonna skip ahead. Let's see what. Let's talk about the person with. Let me see. Where did I see that about the family with the special needs kids?
Oh.
Because I have a special needs son, and he is my number one priority. I had that mark. What
That's actually interesting. She put that in a dating book because that's usually not even a subject broached.
That usually is, and so it's. What do you say to people? I mean, do you think that's something that when people ask you, do you have kids, and you say yes, do you say yes, I have a special needs child, or do you just say yes, I have a child?
I have a child. He's a child first. Your people with disabilities are people first, and they happen to have a disability. So you don't go, I mean, it's like stepchildren. You don't, oh, well, that's my stepchild, and that's my adopted child, and that's the one I birthed naturally. No, they're all my kids. They're all my kids.
I know. That's the way I always handle it, too, unless it gets to the where they say, oh, well, your son is such and such age, and he still live at home. You know, then I can say, well, yeah, my son has special needs. And that's in, unless they're interested in knowing what it is and all that, you know, then that's in of it. Yes, he's special needs, he live at home.
Right.
So now if you have a problem with that, get the stuff.
Right, because it's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
Because this won't be a choice.
No, that's not a choice. It's never been a choice. And he always joke about all of our friends, my friends that got married or remarried or whatever, and he's like, we go to the wedding, he'd be like, well, you're next. I said, oh no. Or else he'll say, well, I got to check them all out first. They got to come through me.
Right. But I think a lot of times people don't discuss that. What happens if our child is born with a special need or a disability? You don't want the relationship to be broken up because we never talked about that in the beginning. So it's good to talk about dialogue. Yeah. What are we going to do if this happens?
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, like you said here, sometimes you don't know until later, because I didn't know my son had a disability till he was started first grade.
Okay.
And with it being a learning disability, it's not anything you see.
Right.
You see him as this little normal kid running around doing things, but then when you get in school, he has a struggle. So after he's tested and diagnosed, then, you know, you can sort of figure out where his life is going after that.
Right.
But what I've also found out is there are some guys that don't want to be bothered with that.
Right.
You know, they want the mother, but they don't want the child. Well, this is a special needs child or not. Sometimes they come in and, you know, you might have one child, and, you know, some guys are fine with that. Then other time you come in, the guys, no, I don't want to be by. I just want the bomb.
Yeah.
And if the mom doesn't say, if the mom doesn't say, you get both. I mean, that kid could be just left out.
Right. And that's on the mom.
Yeah, that's what I say.
On the mom.
Because the guys, they're going to do what they want to do. And trust me, guys, I'm not bashing anybody.
Not at all.
We're not bashing anybody. It's just like, you know, I'm saying it because I know from experience, like, this is all I know is special needs kids. I don't know what it's like to, when people say the normal kids, all that. I only know how to deal with special needs because that's all I have. And I've gone through a lot of programs and everything, a lot of training and everything to get him where he is today. He'll be 30 this year.
Okay.
But I find that some people just let guys just come in, go through the family and ignore the kids and all that stuff. And
and
it breaks my heart. You know, they're not even my kids.
And it really, from two perspectives, for someone where they're not coming in as the stepfather,
right?
But for someone who's actually in that relationship, it might be a stigma.
Right.
I can't have a child that has special needs. How does that reflect on me?
Yeah.
And so you have to talk about those things and make sure that person that you're with is compassionate enough to be able to handle that situation, because you never know if it's going to happen or not.
And it could be overwhelming for the average person.
Right.
You have to really be diligent in making sure their life goes as normal as possible, because the outside world is not a great place.
No. And it could even be a mental disability. It doesn't have to be anything physical. It could be a mental illness.
When they're mentally challenged, I think that's harder than physically challenged. I really do, because like I say, the school systems are hard on them, and if you don't stick with it, they're not going to get the education they need. They're not going to get the help they need. And, I mean, I was a bear when my son was in school.
And you have to be.
When they saw me coming, it'd be like, oh, Miss Quinn, here she comes.
Right, but you are your child's advocate.
Yes.
And you're the one that's going to be there for them no matter what.
Yep.
And you have to be that way. And whoever's going to be joining you in that relationship has to be the same way.
Right. So, now what about He's a man with a plan? And then we about at the end. Okay. The man with the plan.
The man
what
with
is
the
his
plan? he has to see himself going somewhere. He can't, it's nice to live in the moment and just be fly by night and do things spontaneously. But if you don't have a plan or a vision for yourself, you're not going to get very far. You have to see your future, see yourself in the future. What does that look like for you? And that's on both perspectives. Where do I see myself next year, 5 years, 10 years? What happens when I retire?
Oh, yeah. I thought of that later, because when you're younger, you usually don't think about retiring.
Not at all.
And then when you get older, you be like, damn, I should have thought about retiring.
Should have saved some more money.
Save some more money.
Yeah, because I'm talking to a lady now, she's ending up raising a couple of kids that are not hers, but she worked at a factory and made all this money, and now she's like, I got to look for a part-time job because I didn't plan for this. So you have to think ahead. And some people think of it as, it's a downer. I have to plan for the future. I have to plan for death. Yeah, you need life insurance. You need retirement benefits. You need to have that because you want to be set when you reach that point, not struggling to make ends meet when you're 65, 70.
I want to be set when I die, too. I already told them. Cremate me and play James Brown's Sex Machine.
Oh, Lord.
It's in writing. Don't spend all my money on a funeral. I want to be cremated, and just make sure you play James Brown's Sex Machine at the service. That's all I want.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, well, anyways. So we're going to get ready to wrap up the show today, and I know I've had a lot of fun. This worked me right through this book. I'm going to tell you, I probably read 3/4 of it, and I cracked up all the way, and I had to bring it here to show John because John thinks a lot like me. I think he's my evil twin. He just don't tell people. Actually, he has a twin sister.
Oh, really? Okay.
But that's not me.
She's a nice person. I was the one that got all the evil genes.
Yeah. But this is really a good book, and like I say, I'm just really impressed that, at such a young age, and I'm not saying I know your age, I'm just saying she looked like she's 12. That she can write such a good book. And that. I've been telling people about it, and one of my neighbors go to U of M, and she says she know you because I said, little Danielle with the bald head, she sort of looked like me. But I showed her the book, and that's how we were going through it. We were just like, oh my God, we just reading and cracking up. But I hope you do well. So how many of these have you sold so far? You rich and famous yet?
Not quite yet.
Not quite
yet. Not
She's
quite. I'm working on it.
She's getting there. She's getting there.
Yeah.
But anyways, I want to thank you for taking the time to come in. This has been such a fun day, and I really like you gave us a title, Lunch with Lisa.
Oh.
Because this was a fun lunch hour today. And so if you have any contact information you'd like to pass along for people to, whether they want to contact you for advice on book signings or anything like that, go ahead and let pass it on.
Okay, well, the website is warningsignsbook.com, and they can order any format of the book they want. If you don't want to read, you can listen to it on audiobook, download it on your MP3 player, read it on your Kindle or your Nook or whatever you want. I have a book signing this Saturday, actually, at Barnes & Noble at 1 o'clock. And I have a Facebook page. It's facebook.com/warningsignsbook, and you can get a hold of me there. And that's the best way to reach me.
Okay, so everybody make sure you come out to Barnes & Noble. That's on Miller Road, right?
On Miller Road, 1
come
o'clock
out there
Saturday.
At 1 o'clock Saturday. See Miss Danielle Ward.
Yeah. And the book's also at Pages downtown. And at Mott Bookstore.
Oh, well, that's great. Pages have a lot. They get all the new authors.
They do.
I hope next year that my book be ready, because I'm at the stage right now where all I need to do is print it out and start doing some editing and putting it in order. And I'm just so excited. I couldn't even concentrate the other day. I was just so overwhelmed. I told my neighbor, I was like, I think it's done. I think it's done.
It's exciting.
I just got to go in and print it out and put it in order. But I had 2 days that I said I was going to work on it, and I did not do it. I was too excited. I just couldn't put my hand on the printer.
Well, you have to get excited when it's done.
I know. I was just like so excited that, I kept saying I should just go on over there and print it out and start on it. But then I would start something else, and then I get distracted, and then I'd start something else, and I was like, okay, I got to stop. This week, my plan is to print it out and start editing, because I have to put it in order and get the chapters lined up. I've got 10 lined up, but there's so much more that I haven't. It's hard to do it on the computer, rolling it down. So I'll print it out and manually do this and then go back and fix it. But I said this week I'm hoping to have it printed out and put those chapters together.
All right.
But I'm just so excited, because it's just like, I might meet my deadline after all. I might have one copy in my hand by July 19th. That's what I'm here for.
Now I have to come on and interview you.
That's right. For my 60th birthday,
Yeah.
I'll be like this out here with my book. And I don't even know what the title's gonna be yet.
All right, it'll come. It'll come.
Something is gonna come.
It'll come.
But thank you so much for coming on today. And like I said, everybody make sure 1 o'clock Saturday, Barnes & Noble, Danielle's book signing. Yep. Next week, I have a call-in for Mr. Jeffrey Hill. There's a bike show in Hartford that we're going to discuss. I think Jeffrey's going to be calling in from either Hartford or California. I'm not sure yet. I'll have to talk to him. But anyways, tune in because I understand that's a big event they do each year in Hartford. So if you like bikes, it'll probably be the place for you. So with saying that, we're going to sign off today and see you next week, same time, same place, Flaminpit, and we're out.